Welcome back to Get Well Soon, the red pill content of Welly F, aka Moriarty, where the mindset is you either die a villain or you live long enough to see yourself become a simp. If you've been following me for a while now, you know that I've currently took a dive into crisis mode with the rest of the world, just analyzing things through a red pill lens. It may not always be related to women per se, but I do believe that through a red pill lens, you see things in an awakened mindset. You've seen the movie The Matrix. You know what Neo went through after he took the pill. So let's just move forward. Today's episode, I want to address something that I call the Great American Hypocrisy. I do believe that we stay in times where virtue signaling is something that is as as much as a pandemic as the beer flu. With that being said, I do believe that one issue that I've brought up many times, and I think that eventually there will be so much crud under the rug that you will not be able to sweep it under the rug any longer. You'll walk over that rug and it'll be lumpy as hell, and you will have to lift up that rug and address what is under it. And we can all virtue signal all we want and pretend like the economy is something that can just be pushed to the side because we think that the economy only benefits big business. But the fact of the matter is, if the economy is crumbling, that means goods and services are not being produced. And no matter where you come on the totem pole, goods and services are produced by us, the ordinary people. People need to always understand something. You can hate billionaires all you want, but at the end of the day, billionaires, individual billionaires, there's less than 600 of them in the United States. And for the most part, there's nothing you're going to be able to do about the fact that they inherited wealth or whatever they did to get it. You can be jealous all you want, but the fact of the matter is, 95% of the time, you contributed to them being as wealthy as they are. Today's episode is addressing the recent discovery of a lot of people that are intent on not paying their rent due to the economical hard times that we are facing. Once again, I know that this is not addressing women per se like I usually do, but it is still something that you need to understand that is, in my opinion, a human flaw. I may be able to intertwine some female nature in here in a sec, but in matter of fact, I will. I would say that due to us as a first world nation, so to speak, I know that's not the right way to phrase it, but due to us being in the position that we're in today, where men are highly emasculated, men are becoming more feminine, masculinity is generally seen as toxic. We can just admit that the way people are moving today is, to me, in a more feminine way. And I say that to say that throughout history, we've always seen the women in a position to where they can just kind of sit back and get handouts simply for being alive, simply for having a vagina, simply for being female. I think that's no longer something that is solely in the hands of a woman now. I think there are a lot of men and a lot of women doing that today, and it's very apparent when you see a bunch of people saying, "Hey, government, I'm struggling. I need a handout." And I want everybody to understand something. I totally agree that in times like this, there should be a bailout for the American people across the globe. People that are working should not have to freeze their income or have their income frozen based on the fact that their employer does not have a safety net for them. I believe people should have an income insurance for a crisis time. Meaning, if you're just putting 15, 20 cents As long as you're with the job, you're putting 15, 20 cents, a dollar, however you want to put in there, sort of like a 401k. So where when a crisis time comes up, you can say, hey, I want to use my insurance for the next, to make sure that I'm good for the next 2 or 3 weeks, blah, blah. I haven't thought this out all the way through, but I pretty much think that it's common sense. Insurance is there to insure you when you are in time of crisis. So why not have some type of insurance for individuals rather than having to bail out whole companies and have it to where people feel like they're not about to get anything? Because everybody is bitching right now about the fact that corporations are being bailed out and not necessarily individuals. And I think that it's still weird because if corporations don't have money, they can't hire people. It's that simple. So to wrap things up, because I really didn't want to talk about this too long, I just want to just point out a scenario. So recently it's discovered that Cheesecake Factory nationwide says they're not going to be able to pay their rent. And obviously that makes sense because this was declared a pandemic, I want to say around March 9th maybe. So you're talking basically 7 days into the month. That's not enough income to be able to sustain a business like Cheesecake Factory, which in so many words, I would say it's a high end or middle of the road restaurant. So I imagine that a lot of people don't understand how business works, and I think that most people think businesses work at a profit all the time, which is not true. I do believe that a lot of businesses operate like businesses. They see profit, they see profit when they see profit, and that's how bonuses are made. I'm not about to go into that because to me, that's not the problem here. I just want to point out the true hypocrisy, and this is the scenario that I come up with. Okay, the Cheesecake Factory owner, that is their source of income. The work at Cheesecake Factory, that is their source of income. The landlord has his source of income. Okay, the pandemic is announced. A lot of people's income stops. Obviously, the Cheesecake Factory worker, if there is no business, they get laid off because once again, there is no insurance like I talked about. They get laid off. Some get furloughed, some don't. So some are just screwed. They have no job. You're a server, there's nobody to serve, you gotta go. Owners are in a position where they probably are going to see bankruptcy or have to file for it because once again, the pandemic means there's no work, income stops. Landlords are faced with tenants who can't work, so therefore the landlord's source of income is stopped because nobody wants to make rent payments. Okay, in modern day society, the only person receiving sympathy in all of this is the Cheesecake Factory worker, because he or she is the most relatable. But does that make the other two individuals less human for being higher up on the hierarchy? Has middle America become so consumed by the mentality of eat the rich that they can't see how cancerous this ideology is of eat the rich? How come so many of us want to be rich and praise the rich on a normal day and basically say fuck small businesses and brag about how we constantly spend a fourth of our income keeping big businesses afloat, but then in times like these, it is eat the rich. So I'm just posing the question here. Who do you have more sympathy for? Not that that really matters, but at the end of the day, I look at it like it's a chess game. You put the right pieces in the right spot and you can see victory clearly. That's how life works. A lot of these people didn't necessarily put their pieces in a spot that was fail safe, and as you see in this scenario, everybody suffers. Nobody's really winning. So we, in my opinion, as humans, need to come together and realize that the virtue signaling going on today it's not going to get the job done. I don't really feel like there's a right and a wrong here, but the fact that I just pointed out 3 people on a hierarchy are all going to suffer based on a pandemic. Like, nobody wants to talk about the fact that we can do 2 things at one time. We can still keep the economy moving while staying safe. When did it get to the point where a society or a community of humans can't watch out for each other while making money? Make it make sense. This is why I call it the great American hypocrisy. Anyways, I appreciate you for listening. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell. And until we meet again.